All right, there we go. So, lesson three of the Life Force Energy and Chakras Masterclass. So, in week one, we talked about, the external life force energy that we receive from the sun, and the vitality globules that vitalize and provide us with life force energy and things. And then last week, we talked about the inner life force energy that we receive from our inner sun, the masculine principle of the superconscious mind. And it's funny because on the podcast, Let's Grow Radio, we just recorded the fifth episode, which is all about the emperor, which also represents that masculine principle of our inner authority, the superconscious mind and things. So it's also pretty cool synchronicities there. But so now we're going to start to get into kind of how both of those come together, the external and the internal, through the chakras. Okay, so a lot of you probably have heard about chakras and things, maybe even studied chakras, worked with your chakras. I get a lot of people asking me questions all of the time about, you know, how to balance their chakras or open their chakras, or their chakras are blocked or they need to activate them. They're always activated. They're never blocked. They may not be flowing with as much energy as you would like, or they may be overstimulated, and you can kind of balance them out a little better. But there's never any need to, actually activate. They're always active, you know. And so we'll get into all of that as well. But part of the reason I also want to reiterate, anybody who's within this course, like we talked about in week one, if um, you have not actively practiced concentration and have a strong level of control over your attention, then I would put a pause on this and begin that practice, or receive what you receive here and not necessarily do the exercises provided until you actually start the exercises of concentration. Mainly because, universal truth, energy flows where the attention goes. If you're wanting to work with your life force energy, the first two lessons I did give you exercises to do to work with your energy. But now we're starting to work with the chakras. And so the exercises are going to be a lot stronger and more powerful. And if you have no level of control over your attention, then you're going to have no level of control over the flow of energy that you're utilizing, in these more specialized, specific vibrations of energy. So, I would definitely highly suggest practicing concentration. You can take the Keys to Success course. All you mentees have the access to it for free, or you can just Google your own exercise. I mean, just stare at your finger for 5 minutes a day every single day. Find your own way to control your attention. Regular practice and discipline, utilization of your willpower is going to be what determines the results that you have with that. So, you have to find any specific exercise. And so with with um with the with that in mind, let's go ahead and get into the chakras, because with well, just to wrap that up, with concentration and having control over your attention, you will be able to, the stronger your level of concentration, the stronger your ability to not only move and direct the energy within these chakras, but also the power and strength that you have in being able to do that. And the more that you are able to do that and work with your chakras in these ways and your energy in these ways, is going to determine how successful you are. So, chakras, for anyone who doesn't know, or just a reiteration, chakra is a Sanskrit word for the word wheel. means wheel. And the purpose of our chakras, like we talked about, is to transform physical energy into non-physical energy, and non-physical energy to transform non-physical energy into physical energy. So like a wheel goes round and round, the energy is flowing round and round. And it's also called a wheel just because it's it's a circle. And so, a wheel is a circle as well, but it's mostly to signify that transformation of energy that's in perpetual motion, like a wheel. So we have the seven major chakras. That's what we're going to start out talking about. In future lessons, we'll talk about the major minor chakras and the hand chakras, foot chakras, things like that. And then also the minor chakras. You have hundreds of those things. But right now, we're going to be talking about the root chakra, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, the throat chakra, the brow chakra, and the crown chakra. Now, one thing I want you all to do is not to only just see this objectively. Like right now, we are separate from this image and looking at the chakras on this two-dimensional image, but also incorporate an understanding of placement here subjectively. So, the exercise I'll give you later is going to help with that. And so understand that these are energy centers within you. They're powerful flows of energy going on within you. Like you may have had an experience of that feeling in your gut, or the lump in your throat. The energy flow there was a sensation that you were feeling of the shift in energy within one of those specific chakras. And so we'll also get into like kundalini energy and things, but also just don't see this as something objective. And you see pictures like this all day long nowadays, especially. But just be sure. I just want to remind you to be sure to also understand that this is very real and within you, and you can see it and perceive it and feel it within you as well. All right. So we're also going to, like I said, we're also going to get into the major minor chakras. Not only do you have the seven major chakras that are the most powerful, but you also have these major minor chakras. They're not necessarily minor, they're stronger than the minor chakras, but they're also not as strong as the major chakras. They're within your hands. I have a video on my social media with about hand chakras on the YouTube. It's very extensive video on there on how to work with your hand chakras, how to open up your hand chakras. I have another video on YouTube about how I use my hand chakras very early on in my practice to not only heal this like growth on the back of my head that had been growing for a year straight, but also I had like a major heart issue and was essentially dying. And then within 30 days of doing the particular technique that I've described, which I'll also go in further depth and walk you through when we get to the Lifeforce Energy Masterclass lesson on hand chakras. But I did it for 30 days, and I mean, it's 10 years later, I haven't had a single symptom of either since. And those have been going on and getting worse for like 1 year straight and then 2 years straight for the other symptoms. But you have also not just in your hands, but also your feet, your hips, your all these other major joints, your shoulders, your elbows, your knees. Um, so just be aware of that. There are more than just the seven major chakras. We also have the minor chakras and the meridians and qigong and things are very aware of these. So they teach them a lot. All these meridian points and all this flow of energy connecting all of these minor chakras together. There's lots of information you can find out about these, so I'm not really going to go very in depth into all of this, just because there's very extensive information you can have on that. But we will touch on minor chakras a little more later. But every joint in the fingers and toes, every vertebrae, your eyes have their own energy vortex. Your ears, your mouth, your nose, your wrists, your ankles, your heart, your lungs, all your organs, stomach, liver, kidneys, so on. And so each of those have their own chakras as well. Any questions so far? Anything?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay. Beautiful. All right. Not yet. I like that. Questions are coming. All right. So just putting this on here. There's lots of information out there about chakras and different mudras that work with each chakra. And I mean, yeah, we could make a whole 45 minutes and some exercises with that. You can definitely do your own research on that and find a lot of stuff on that. We're mostly focusing on the deeper things that you don't really see a whole lot. Like here you can look at all of these other benefits and chakra balancing, different crystals that work with the chakras and things that can help. The different properties, we'll get into the properties and talk about that, make sure we cover it. But the tonal vibrations and things with those, I'll talk about how you can incorporate those into the exercise that we're doing, but not necessarily needed. But we will definitely talk about one of these specifically for helping to raise the Kundalini when we get to that lesson. But I just wanted to show you, I mean, I just Google chakras, boom, these are the first three came up, bing, bing, bing. So you can definitely find a lot of information on there. There's different yoga poses that will help with that because, yoga and Tai Chi, these posture form practices, holding a specific pose within your body, you know, opens up certain flows of energy. And so when you're doing that practice regularly, it will stimulate a specific flow of energy in a specific way. So even if you have different block, like even if there's things kind of clogging up some of these minor chakras or even major chakras, holding these specific postures and things will or flowing through Tai Chi will open up certain flows of energy. So you'll start to, there is a very powerful spiritual effect with those. All right. But I just wanted to show you, like, you can get a lot of different information on chakras in a little. So oops. I have that in there twice. So, okay. But with us, we are going to talk about the whole point of that we started with on what chakras are. They transform physical energy into non-physical energy, and they transform non-physical energy into physical energy, right? So we all, everybody's heard by now the little saying that I'm not a human being having a spiritual experience. I'm a spiritual being having a human experience. And we talked about before in like the dream interpretation masterclass and plenty other things about the structure of the mind and understanding the fact that our consciousness uses the physical body to experience life in this physical reality using the conscious mind. And our consciousness also uses our soul. And our soul uses the subconscious mind and traverses the fourth dimensional plane. But we also use our consciousness also uses the vehicle of the spirit, and these are the spirit and the soul are energy bodies. And so the flow of energy from non-physical energy into physical energy is also, these seven major chakras are also what um, anchor these bodies together. So like anyone who's experienced astral projection or wake-induced lucid dreaming will understand, like at times when your energy body starts to activate, it starts to elevate in vibration in order to go into these higher dimensions and realms. You'll start to feel a huge shift in your energy and a strong vibration, or a huge thumping. It feels like your heart's going 100 100 beats a second. And that's it elevating and separating from these anchor points of these chakras. So the chakras actually do flow non-physical energy into physical energy. So if the majority of the time when we talk about chakras, the energy form of what is discussed is usually the non-physical energy, the spiritual energy. But there also are physical uh, portions of our body that also correlate with the chakras, and this is the endocrine system. Every major chakra correlates with a ductless gland in the body. The endocrine system is ductless. What that means is there is no like it secretes chemicals and fluids, but there's nothing where it's coming into. Like there's nothing that's feeding into it. There's no physical part of the body that's feeding into that gland for that gland to then produce something and excrete something out, but that's because what it's receiving is not physical. It's receiving the not it's transforming because like we said, chakras are energy transformers. So it's transforming non-physical energy into physical energy, and this occurs within each of these glands. I mean, you can just easily Google. I just did it right here and put it in here. The endocrine glands do not have ducts to carry their product to a surface. They are called ductless glands. The word endocrine is derived from the Greek term endo, meaning within, and crine, meaning to separate or secrete. So it's taking the energy from within and then secreting it out into the physical body. So we have these 7 ductless glands. I mean, you have more within the endocrine system, but these are the ones correlated to the 7 major chakras. So in the endocrine system, we have the root chakra, of course, the sacral chakra, the solar plexus chakra, the heart chakra, and the throat chakra, the brow chakra, and the crown chakra. And the the glands within the endocrine system that correlate with each of these is the main focus point of this lesson that we're going to be focusing upon. So the root chakra for females, it's working with the ovaries, and with males, it's working with the testes. With the sacral chakra, it's working with the pancreas. And we'll get into what each of these do and how they correlate with each chakra, and then we'll start to go deeper into each chakra itself and how to work with it. The adrenals is the endocrine system glands that work with the solar plexus chakra, and the thymus gland is what works with the heart chakra. And the thyroid gland works with the throat chakra, the pituitary gland works with the brow chakra, and the pineal gland works with the crown chakra. Like I said, there's many more glands. Well, not many more, but there's a couple more, like hypothalamus, also. It's not necessarily associated with the adrenals. So let's start with the testes and the ovaries. The testes in men and the ovaries in women produce hormones that regulate sexual development and function, include testosterone, estrogen, and progesterone. I don't know. I was just finding out what is the actual chemical that's being secreted, because these chemicals are the things that create life. When the two come together, when the ovaries and the testes come together, the egg is produced and the sperm is produced, and then thus life is then created there, which is what the root chakra is all about: creation, creative energy, taking the earth's energy and using it to create. If you're wanting to create things, then you're working with the root chakra energy in order to manifest things within your life. And so it's good to also know not only the etherical and spiritual and metaphysical energy flow of the root chakra, but also how your physical energy works with that. You know, um, there's plenty of ways that you can create using the energy from these physical ductless glands in more than just creating another human baby. You can also use this flow of energy to help you to work with the energy, the non-physical energy of the root chakra, to then manifest. So the hormones produced within the testes and ovaries regulate sexual development and function, which is essential for the continuation of life on Earth. This aligns with the root chakra's energy of creation and manifestation, as it is the foundation of the chakra system and associated with the element of the Earth. So, like I was saying, it is very foundational, because the you also want to understand that within the physical body, on this physical plane on Earth, the gravity is naturally going to pull your energy down to these lower centers. Also, the way that our society is set up, you're also being programmed to encourage that flow of energy downward into these lower centers. So you will also normally have a lot more energy within these ductless glands, your sexual organs. And so this is very important to understand because as we're going to begin working with our energy, if we're wanting things to balance, one of the biggest things that I hear people ask me about whenever they are asking me, like I said earlier, they ask me questions all the time about increasing a flow of energy in some specific chakra. Almost 90% of the time, if not more, it's the brow chakra, which is way up here, right? That's because naturally they have a natural flow of energy. So there's an most like you have a certain like a set amount of energy, whatever it is. Some people have more energy than others. But if what amount of energy you have is at 100%, the majority of us, over 50% of that energy is in these lower two chakras. So in these lower two areas of the body. So thus that's why these lower endocrine glands are mostly overstimulated, and you're kind of you're physiologically influenced, over influenced by these energy centers, physical glands. All right, the pancreas. The pancreas is located behind the stomach and produces hormones that regulate blood sugar levels, including insulin and glucagon. So the pancreas. Well, let's read into this first to help before I go into expounding upon it further. The pancreas regulates blood sugar levels and energy in the body, aligning with the sacral chakra's vitality and creativity. So if you remember, we talked about the external source of energy is the vitality that we receive from the vitality globules from the sun, the solar energy. Well, the root chakra, which we'll get more into, is all about working with the earth energy, receiving and transforming the energy that we receive from the earth. Well, the sacral chakra is about the energy that we receive from the sun, the solar energy, which is our vitality. So, the blood sugar and insulin and everything is all about your vitality. So solar energy received from the sacral chakra is processed by the pancreas to maintain energy levels and balance vitality in the body. When we talk about the sacral chakra, we're talking about the energy vitality that you have. When you're talking about the pancreas, you're talking about the vitality that your physical body has. The energy levels that your body has. Through the sugar levels and things like that you're going to have. Okay, the adrenals. The adrenals glands are located above the kidneys and produce the hormones cortisol and adrenaline. So one thing with like we talked about a second ago, the adrenals are associated with the solar plexus chakra. Now, the solar plexus chakra is all about your exchange in energy with other people. Um, I don't know if we talked about it in any of these courses yet, or if we were talking about it. I know I talked about it on the podcast like a week or two ago. And I think I talked about it. Somebody had a dream about airports, so we talked about it then. But the solar plexus is all about giving and receiving energy with other people. So, like airports in your dream are going to represent solar plexus because when you walk into a room and you can feel the energy of other people, that energy usually is flowing into your body through the solar plexus, and it affects your adrenals. You know what I mean? You be overstimulated, and and things like that. And so, like an airport, our solar plexus and adrenals work the same way. So an airport is a building; it's just a building, right? But there's on one side of the building, you have all of these airplanes going in and out, commercial airplanes, passenger airplanes, private airplanes, these UPS and FedEx airplanes going in and out. And that's mostly what we think about when we think about an airport. But also on the other side of the building, you have all of these, cars and trucks and taxis and Ubers also going in and out. And there's people within these vehicles that are exiting and entering these vehicles and entering into the building and then moving to the other side and entering and exiting the vehicles on the other side. So it's a flow of energy. The vehicles of the cars and trucks and taxis never are on the other side on the tarmac. And the planes of all sorts are never on the other side in the streets, but you have one that where the people come into the airport and go into the taxis and cars, and those disperse them within the city. But then also that side uses the airport as a focal point to then function and flow energy out into the rest of the world. And so just that's the same way that your solar plexus chakra works, and really a lot of all of the chakras. But where the energy that you receive outside from the world around you is then received through this center and then transformed into physical energy that is focalized within your body, physical body. And then also the energy within the physical body is then transformed into non-physical energy that you then disperse out into the world. Like if any of you have ever heard me talk about different ways that you can become a master empath, one of the things that I primarily suggest in the very beginning is to find ways to work on being sure that you're not being influenced by the energy of those around you and the environment around you. And the best way to do that is to make sure that the environment around you and those around you are affected by your energy. So making your energy strong enough to where it's making an imprint on the environment you're in versus the opposite of the environment you're in having such an impact and imprint on your energy and transforming your energy. So you're pretty much creating a stronger presence energetically. And so, that can be done and helped by working with the adrenals and things. Okay, so before we get into the rest of these, any questions yet or so far?
Not yet.
Okay, perfect. All right. All right. The next one, the thymus. The thymus gland. The thymus gland is located in the chest and produces hormones that are involved in the development and function of the immune system. So the heart chakra, anybody who's watched any of those videos that I've produced and provided about the hand chakras and working with them, one of the first things that you're going to do as far as healing yourself after you open up your hand chakras is then use your hand chakras to open up your heart chakra, because that's going to unlock your healing energy. Because the heart chakra is all about the healing energy. That love there is going to be the core energy that's used to heal all the rest of the parts of your body and yourself and your mind, emotions. And so it's no surprise that the thymus is then involved with helping strengthen your immune system, which is what your body uses to heal itself. The thymus gland supports immune system function, aligning with the heart chakra's energy of love and connection. The heart chakra's love energy is a powerful healing force, which the thymus gland supports. Together, they promote overall health and well-being through the flow of energy, love, energy, and immune function. Is powerful. And so part of the reason why I'm also talking about these glands, like a lot of people in spirituality, they talk that about the pituitary gland and the pineal gland, but nobody ever really talks about these other glands. Nobody ever really talks about also these other chakras as well. So maybe that's why. but but I'm also sharing this with you so that you can study these glands. We want to understand ourselves in deeper ways, and we want to further our own spiritual development and things. But we also need to honor the fact that we are within these physical vehicles. We need to understand these vehicles. The better we understand them, the better that we can utilize them. And so use your time, part of your time, to go further and deeper into what I'm providing here, and just understanding these glands and how you can help them out. If if you're having trouble, with your immune system. Oh, okay. Then you can understand, oh, okay, there must be something going on with my heart chakra as well. Oh, you know what? I am kind of closed off to love because of, something that, happened, X did me wrong or something, or maybe I didn't have any much love growing up in my home as a child, or maybe I was, an orphan and didn't have any love being provided to me as a child. And so, oh, okay, no wonder I have, a weak immune system. Okay, I really need to focus on both of these. And I can see that there's a connection here between the two, which will allow me to understand how to then transform it and heal it and strengthen both on both sides. So that's why another example of why it's important to understand these connections. Because then you can uh, position yourself and place yourself in a better position to stimulate the healing and overcome these different obstacles you have in this current life. If you're someone like that, maybe it's a different energy center that you're needing to stimulate some energy in. All right, the thyroid gland. The thyroid gland is located in the
Get
neck.
your ass up and clean this kitchen.
Ooh, better clean that kitchen, boy. Left them dirty dishes in there. God. Hey, hold on. Let's make sure everybody out. Okay. Ooh. All right. So the thyroid gland. This is a perfect time, the thyroid gland, to have that come out. Speaking your mind. You know what I mean? Having no fear to speak your mind. Oh, you're fine. My bad. You're fine. It's no problem. It was plenty of joy that it brought to the rest of us, I believe. At least to me. But it was also a perfect example as well, because we're now on the thyroid gland, was about the throat chakras. Let's get into it. The thyroid gland is located in the neck and produces hormones that regulate metabolism, growth, and development. The thyroid gland's hormone production regulates metabolism and energy, aligning with the throat chakra's communication and creativity. Now, it's a communication, speaking your mind, and emphatically, because also with the throat chakra, that's your willpower. You know what I mean? That wasn't just, hey, can you come clean this kitchen? No, get your ass in here and clean this goddamn kitchen. You know what I mean? Emphatically, with will and power, speak using your energy and communicating it out to the world around you in order to manifest what you want. Mama wants a clean kitchen. She's gonna get it happen. She's gonna make it happen. But the thyroid gland's hormone production regulates. Oh yeah, the throat chakra also supports willpower. Exactly, allowing individuals to manifest their desires through the power of the spoken word. Together, the thyroid gland and throat chakra promote energy flow, creativity, and the manifestation of willpower and desires. I mean, this could have been timed any better. So yeah, it might have been a slightly embarrassing moment, but we appreciate the sacrifice that your spirit took for all the rest of us to have that moment to and more emphasize this knowledge here. So, but our thoughts create our reality, right? And we talk a lot of times about, we went through the visualization course, talked all the time about how our thoughts are images, and the images within our mind then are made into our physical reality. Well, how we are able to physicalize our thoughts is through our voice. When you talk, like, the words that you use are very powerful, and we can all understand that, but sometimes I don't know if people quite understand just how powerful of an effect that they have, and why our spoken word has a powerful effect. You're creating a vibration. I mean, the sound is nothing but vibrations reverberating. And the stronger that the vibration is, the further out it reverberates. And so the more of the environment around you that it affects, the more powerful effect it has on the environment around you. And so one thing to also understand is the words that you speak out loud have no there is no greater vibration felt, like Someone can be sitting right next to you, right in front of you, right in front of your face, and you can speak words out loud to them, and the vibration of that sound, their body will feel that vibration. However, it is to such a much smaller degree than your own body will feel that vibration. You know what I mean? Like humming. You can feel that vibration. You know what I mean? Have somebody hum right next to you and pay attention to your body, and then you hum and pay attention to your body. I mean, you can feel, I can, if I put enough attention on, I can feel the vibration in my toes. You know what I mean? And I can feel it getting there. I can feel it fill up my chest. I can feel it reach down to my hips. I can feel when it hits my knees. And after about 2 or 3 seconds, it's finally hitting my toes. I mean, do it yourself right now. Give yourself the experience. See if there's any part of your body that doesn't feel the vibration. You know what I mean? So your words that you use, yes, they do have an impact on those around you and the environment around you. And the environment around you will begin to shift and change to harmonize with the words that you use. So if you're using the same words, you're going to continue to have and attract the same experiences and environment. One way that you can help make that thing shift in the ways that you want is to have the words that you use shift in the ways that you want. So I'm just saying that the greatest person affected by your words that you use is you, yourself, your body. You keep saying, I'm getting old, I'm getting old. Oh man, I'm getting old. Oh, you know what I mean? Another year. How old are you now? Oh, I'm this many years old. Oh, I'm getting old. You know what I mean? Your body's gonna reflect that. Your body's gonna be like, oh, okay, that the vibration is going to affect your body. And it's gonna, the cells within your body are getting communicated to. No matter how you say it or who you say it to, you're also saying it to your cells. And it's like a loudspeaker to all of your cells. You know what I mean? Because there's not a single cell in your body that's older than 7 years. Not a single one. But how that cell is reflected is determined by the thoughts that you think, the words that you speak. And then it reflects that and say, oh, okay, you want us to reflect as a gray hair. Okay, we can do that. Oh, you want us to just disappear as a hair altogether. Okay, we can do that. Oh, you don't want me to stay tight anymore? You want me to wrinkle up? Okay, I can do that. Oh, wait, you only want one good hip? You want us to just give up and give out? I mean, if that's what you want, we'll do that. You know what I mean? And so your cells are gonna reflect how you do. So that is also why I talk a lot about how, especially when we're talking about dreams and people are talking about animals, and I talk about how animals are habitual creatures and things. And we are also habitual creatures. And what separates us from animals is our imagination, our ability to imagine. And then that way we can create something different from ourselves. But another thing that I don't normally touch on um, every time, sometimes I do, is the speech. Speech is also a thing that separates us from animals because it provides us such a powerful way to physicalize our imagination, thus accelerating the change and shift and manifesting power, creative power that our imagination has. So when you learn to master, not just understand and work with, but when you learn to become a master of your imagination and your speech, then you are unlocking the foundational keys of immortality. But that's not something that I necessarily speak on a whole lot because I yet have had a chance to experience immortality until at least at 300 years old. I think it's probably a good. By the time you're 300 years old, I think. So until that time, I don't like to speak on any authority with that to any kind of degree at all, as I do with other things that I do feel I have a level of mastery over, such as things with working with your energy and spiritual energy in your dreams and consciousness. So, anyways, just saying that to really drive home the power of the spoken word, and we'll get into that further with the throat chakra. But the thyroid is very and one thing that a lot of people experience is either a hyper active thyroid or a hypoactive thyroid, meaning your thyroid has too much energy flowing through it or not enough energy flowing through it. And so if you're someone who has that, then you can be like, oh, wait a second, this is also correlated with the throat chakra. Okay, I need to maybe have a different shift in balance and shift in energy flow of my throat chakra. Okay, let me study up more on my throat chakra. Or if you're someone who doesn't have the throat chakra, you don't really communicate very well, you don't have a strong willpower, then look into the thyroid. What kind of herbs and supplements can you start taking to help stimulate some energy within your thyroid and strength within your thyroid that may help create a better environment, more conducive for you to start working and strengthening with your throat chakra. All right. Almost there. The pituitary gland. That's beautiful. So the pituitary gland is the master gland because it kind of controls a lot of all these other glands. The pituitary gland is a small gland. Hold on a second. Let me get a sip of my Waterloo. Today's message is brought to you by Waterloo. I don't get no money from them. I just love them. I don't need no sponsorship or nothing. I just joke around all the time. But anyways, the pituitary gland is a small gland located at the base of the brain that regulates many bodily functions, including growth, metabolism, reproduction, and blood pressure. The pituitary gland produces a variety of hormones, including growth hormone, thyroid stimulating hormone, prolactin, and follicle stimulating hormone, among others. Boom, what were we just talking about? Some hair follicles and things. So also, if there's something going on with your hair, stimulate more with the pituitary gland. A lot of people, we have a calcified pituitary gland, meaning like the fluoride in the water uh, is one of the strongest points of calcifying the pituitary gland. So maybe get your water. I don't really drink tap water. I mean, yeah, I end up showering in it and use it to wash my dishes. I don't go through any extremes to kind of cut it out that way. But luckily I live in Louisville, which has one of the best tap water systems in the country. But like I remember back in Cincinnati, man, if you went to the University of Cincinnati is in Clifton, and if you ever like you can just sometimes like go into somebody's house in Clifton, you can walk into the kitchen and it just smells like toothpaste. Straight up smells like toothpaste in the whole kitchen. And like the person lives there, so they don't never notice it. But that's one thing I noticed all the time. I'd always want, and as when I was younger, in college and things, and going to different parties and stuff, I always used to wonder, like, why does it smell like toothpaste in there? These people, is this something at this college where all these kids just brush their teeth in they kitchen? But once I got older and understood, these different things that were going on, then I understood, oh, there's a lot more fluoride being pumped out into this neighborhood than the other neighborhoods in the city. But anyways, one of the greatest ways, before we get further into this, to decalcify, one is to work with the pituitary gland, stimulate it, get it flowing, get it active so it can start stretching out and breaking off that calcification. It's like any of you ever changed a battery on your car and there was all that calcification on the terminals, the energy terminals, and what do you have to do? Start moving it around. You know what I mean? If you just wiggling the terminal off of the battery, boom, that is already going to break it up. Then you get a brush and scrape it off and things. You can put some gel on there to help keep it from happening. So, steady care and things, but just working with it, working with the pituitary gland. And what's energy flows where the attention goes. What you put your attention on grows. Put your attention on your pituitary gland. You know what I mean? Spend 5 minutes a day. This is the exercise that I want everybody to do for this next week until the next lesson, or this next month for the mentees and getting it live until the next lesson, is for 5 minutes a day, every day, close your eyes and place your attention on your pituitary gland. So, look up some anatomy charts and things, find out where in your head it should be. And when you put your attention on it, you'll feel like, especially if you've been working on like the candle concentration exercise for a while, and you have a much better control over your attention, you'll feel your attention kind of like lock in, kind of nestle in when it hits the point that you're looking for. And it will kind of hold it in place, help you hold it in place. And so put your attention on the pituitary gland for 5 minutes a day, every single day. And then write down what you experience. You know what I mean? I'm not going to tell you what kind of experience you're going to have. You're going to write it down and find out for yourself. You come back and tell me what experience was had. But that's what I want you to do. That's the exercise for this, is to put your attention on that gland. And then once you have conducted your experiment as a metaphysician, you have a sufficient result. Maybe it takes more than 30 days. Maybe it takes 90 days. Maybe you want to study for 90 days and see what happens. Well, then you can take those results and then apply it to other areas. Like I said, if you need more stimulation within the thymus gland, then put your attention on that. Put your attention on the thymus gland. Breathe through the heart. That's one thing I did for like a whole summer back in like 2013. For the whole summer, I just breathed through my heart. I'm no longer breathing through my nose and mouth. I'm breathing through my heart. What does that mean? Breathing through your heart. What the fuck are you talking about, Tarak? That's dumb. That don't even make sense. Meaning, when you breathe, like we talked about in lesson 1, the air, the oxygen molecules hold the vitality globules from the sun. The sun rays come through the ozone layer and they charge the oxygen molecules with it, and then the molecules encapsulate that vitality globules that come all the way from the sun traveling through space. They encapsulate within there, and then when we breathe in, we're internalizing that energy. Well, that energy can also be internalized through all of your other energy centers. You know what I mean? And so the heart being one of them. So even though I'm breathing oxygen through my mouth, my attention is also ensuring that I'm also pulling energy in to my chest, into my heart chakra with every inhale, and allowing energy to flow out of my heart also. This is really going to open up your heart and open yourself up to love, and not, just loving yourself, loving those within your life, just, help melt away the fear and melt away the hatred and, things like that. But so that's another thing that you can do. So maybe for, if you want, instead of doing it with the pituitary gland, do it with the thymus. Put your attention on the thymus. Just hold your attention on the thymus. Breathe in. Just imagine, use your imagination at first, because energy moves off of intention. So just imagining it is going to help flow, cause the energy to flow in that way, whether you can perceive it or not yet. But after a while, you'll begin to be able to feel it as well and perceive it. Imagine the energy flowing into your chest and then out. So another thing, though, with the pituitary gland and decalcifying it, one of the greatest ways that you can decalcify it is through, speaking of the sun, is through gazing at the sun. So I'll never suggest anyone else to ever do this. I do it myself all the time. I'll do it for like 20 minutes at a time. If you've never done it or you're just starting out, I would highly suggest only starting with 10 seconds. Start with 10 seconds, and every day add 10 seconds until you're comfortable. But that's how I did it. I started with 10 seconds, and well, actually, I think I started with like a minute. I added 30 seconds every day, so I got up to 5 minutes, and then I just started doing like 15 minutes of that. But I'll go and just do it for like 20 minutes, and do it. You definitely want to make sure that you're doing it within the first 30 minutes of sunrise or within the last 30 minutes of sunset, because due to the curvature of the earth, the sun rays are coming in at an angle with the ozone layer. So it's passing through more of the ozone layer than it is when it's at the like high noon. So And so it filters out more of the UV rays. So it's within 30 minutes of sunset or sunrise, the UV rays are less than 1. So it's not, it's not going to hurt you at all. I mean, I don't know. People tell me I'm going to go blind, but it's been going on 11 years, going on 12 years now. I don't do it every day like I used to when I first started, like, 11, 10, 11, 12 years ago. I did it every single day, faithfully. Never, I mean, I sometimes miss a day or it's cloudy or something, or, sometimes like that, but almost every day. And then if you're able to, even taking it a step further, get you a shovel. I also did this. I'd go to a city park and I had a little spot where I shoveled a hole in the ground and plant your feet into the ground and then cover your feet with dirt and plant yourself into the dirt, and then you are creating a stronger connection into the earth, which will allow you to absorb more vitality from the sun. This is the greatest way to help with decalcifying the pituitary gland. Also, one of the greatest ways to help balance the energies within all of these other endocrine systems, because, like I said, the pituitary gland is the master gland and it works, regulates all the rest of these. Also helps with all different types of mental disorders like schizophrenia, bipolar, things like that, depression. I mean, even depression is just now, maybe not just now, but for a while now, they've understood that being in the sun, they just tell you being in the sun will help with your depression. Yeah, because more sunlight is actually getting through your optical nerves and things and getting through to where if you're looking at it directly, it'll have 100 times more effect. But like I said, I'll never suggest anyone to do that, but I will always suggest myself to do it, just and for those reasons. So you're the creator of your own reality. So, anyways, the pituitary gland is a small gland. Oh wait, we already talked about that. Next, on the pituitary gland, the pituitary gland is the master gland that regulates other glands and functions in the body. The third eye chakra, associated with intuition and perception, is linked to the subconscious mind. So that's why it's also associated with intuition, because the power of the subconscious mind is intuition. The energy of the third eye chakra is mental perception. So it's exchanging mental energy, chitta, the energy of the mind substance. And so the pituitary gland, which we'll get into the chitta part when we talk about the third eye chakra. But anyways, the pituitary gland's hormone regulation supports the function of the subconscious mind. Together, they promote clarity, intuition, and spiritual awareness. This is to understand, because the pituitary gland is controlling the function of all these other glands below it, the majority of them. And then the brow chakra with the subconscious mind is also doing a similar thing with the rest of the body as well. The autonomous functions of the body. Your blood flowing is the subconscious mind is controlling that and regulating that. The your breath, your breathing. Yeah, you can put your attention on there and start controlling your breath, and so consciously controlling your breath. But as soon as you stop, boom, your subconscious mind is going to take over, and that autonomous function is going to continue. The nervous system, all of these other autonomous functions are controlled by the subconscious mind. And so, in relation, the pituitary gland also has a large role in controlling the rest of the body. All right, the pineal gland. All right, wrapping up here. The pineal gland is a small gland located in the brain that produces melatonin, a hormone that regulates sleep and wake cycles. Interesting. I think after already going through all these other glands, we can already see the connection and correlation here. Okay, because the crown chakra is all about your connection to the divine. The word divine, means of, vine. So the word divine means of God, but the reason it means of God is we'll get into this also. A vine. Why does it use the symbol of a vine? Well, a vine is in the same shape as your spine. You know what I mean? And so that's your creative power. The most powerful creative energy that you have is the Kundalini energy. We'll get into all of that. But I'm just pretty much letting you know, the divine itself is letting you know that you have the power, that Godhead within you. You are a creator. These energy systems are what provides you the power over your physical reality to do that. So, understanding this, the pineal gland regulates our sleep and produces melatonin. It is linked to the crown chakra, which promotes spiritual enlightenment and connection to the divine. Pineal's melatonin production enhances meditative states while regulating consciousness and awareness. Together, they support spiritual awareness and higher states of consciousness. So we can understand that the the chemicals released from the pineal gland are for the purpose of putting your physical body into a state to allow you to detach further from the body, allowing you to connect further with the spiritual. So what it's doing is allowing you to allowing you to free your consciousness up from shifting from this physical body. It's like the door, like you talk about a door, the doorway into the higher realms. Well, it's the physical body is a vehicle. Well, how do you exit the vehicle? When you're sitting in a car and you need to exit the car, what do you use? You use the door. You open the door and exit the car. And so your consciousness is the same thing. It will use the pineal gland to exit the car and exit the vehicle of the physical body and enter into one of the other two vehicles, the soul or the spirit, and then traverse those planes of existence. And so with this, we have the understanding that, this, all of these chakras have a flow of energy flowing from the non-physical etheric energy and spiritual energy into the physical body. And then through these glands, they turn it into physical energy for our body to use. And this physical energy that our body uses can also do the same thing and shift into non-physical energy for us to use spiritually, etherically. So it's very important if we're going to understand how our body or how our life force energy flows, it's very important to understand the anatomical flow of that energy as well. Because if we're going to then start working with our energy, working on this vehicle, if we're going to start becoming metaphysical mechanics, then we need to understand the mechanics of the physical body as well as the etheric body and astral body and energetic body. So that's why I wanted to be sure to start out going on through a thorough list of the endocrine system before we even begin going into the chakras. That's what we're going to focus on in the next lesson, is start going through the 7 major chakras, and really diving deep into that, into working with the energy, not just understanding it, but exercises in how to stimulate that flow of energy, how to strengthen it, how to balance that flow of energy, how to clear out any clogs and things, and how to identify. So, any questions on any of the material we've gone over today? Any thoughts? Sharing any experiences? Okay. All right. Well, that is it for this lesson. So like I said, what we're going to do moving forward, study these glands more than just what I shared with you. Go and study what, Google, ask what do each of these glands do. If there's one that you feel you need a little, oh man, I need to focus on this one, it's giving me problems. Study it, find out, physiologically what ways you can help benefit and stimulate the health of that gland. What other parts of the body does that gland directly work with, and how can you work with that, before, and so really get your physical body in preparation for working with the energetic body. And then um, also be sure to do the pituitary gland exercise, where it's 5 minutes a day, every single day, without fail. You are putting your attention on the pituitary gland with your eyes closed. You can even, if you want, picture a blue flame That would be even more powerful. Picturing a blue flame in the pituitary gland, purifying that gland for yourself, and or ideally in addition to, but if you feel you have to supplement it, then do it with the thymus gland and breathing through the heart that we talked about. You can go back and listen to the recording if you need a reiteration of how to do either of those, but definitely do those moving forward. Like I said, give yourself an experience. All right, and then I'll see you guys. I think next week or sometime before our next Q&A session, I'm going to do another Q&A session because there have been a lot of dreams in the month of March. I really want to make sure I get to all of those for all of you, and not just like jump in there and just give like a one-line interpretation. Really give it my full attention for you, so not only receive, because for you all, it's not necessarily about interpreting the dream for you, but helping you to further understand the language and interpreting the dream. So that's why I feel it's so important to go over. Like that's why I stopped on the last Q&A session. I stopped where we were because I started to get into like wanting to just get through them and not really give them the attention I felt they needed. So I think I'm going to do one more week before the last Wednesday of the month, where we normally do our Q&As. So this month we'll probably have 2 Q&As. So be on the lookout for that. And then in between then, I'll see you guys in the Discord and chatting it up. I like that. Awesome. Good. Okay, great. All right. Well, be on the lookout for that. And yeah, I leave you all in peace. Peace.